Hey guys, this is Feeding Frenzy 91 and I'm bringing you this video, and as the title presumes, it's about Michael Pachter again. I mean, listen, I like Michael Pachter's analyzing, I like his show, but every now and again, and it's becoming more often of late, he says like pure and utter what I believe to be garbage. Alright, so let's just start now. Basically, Pachter. Now we know Pachter seems to be really prejudiced against the Nintendo, especially the Wii U. Now, with Pachter, he basically came out recently, and they were asking about Nintendo, what Nintendo needs to do and stuff, what they need to do to sell more and stuff like that, right? Now, Pachter basically said, and I'm not going to quote the whole thing because it's pretty long, but the first part is he said it is clear to us that the old Nintendo model of proprietary hardware supported by compelling property software is broken. Then he goes on to saying that the software is first rate, right? He says the software is great, which is great. But he says the hardware is not competitive, meaning the Wii U especially. And he says Nintendo shouldn't get out of the hardware business, but it should get out of the Wii U business. So to him, Nintendo should jump the Wii U. He's with those people that say Nintendo should pull a Sega, as I would say. I don't remember. Was it the Saturn or the Dream or the Genesis? One of them. I remember they like just dumped them and then brought out the Dreamcast, or something else. I just can't remember exactly what. I remember at one point there were like so many Saturns. There were like or so many different types of Segas, and they all played the same games. But it was like which Sega do you buy? It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so basically, what Pachter is saying, he wants Nintendo to drop the Wii U, meaning those alright, he wants just to stop making them. He wants them to put their games over to PS4 and Xbox One and the other systems, any other system they could. And because he says their software is first rate, and he's right about that, their software is pretty first rate. And then he says he wants them to basically, after they finally go back to the drawing board, like a couple years down the road, I'm assuming, he doesn't say a couple years down the road, but I'm assuming he would mean a couple years down the road, he wants them to bring back another console, and then he wants them to withdraw their support from the PS4 and Xbox One and bring it to the new console. Okay, that's wrong on so many levels, but before I explain that, then he'd start talking about how they need to bring their games over to mobile phones, and like, it's going to help the handhelds, right? And I'm like, okay, you cannot be talking about the handhelds. You cannot be talking about the 3DS, not the thing that was selling during the month of December and end of November over 1 million units a week. Okay? Alright, but let's just take this bit by bit. Now, there's a couple problems with his theory. Let's go with the first one. Now, there are over 5 million people so far that have bought Wii U's, okay? So what Pachter actually tells Nintendo to do is to pull a Sega. For those of you who don't know what Sega did, I don't know the full story either. I've heard it, and it was old. Come on, it was a while back. I mean, I did hear it recently again, but I can't remember it exactly. Basically, Sega. If you guys remember, there was the Genesis and the Saturn and stuff, and they like came out. I don't know. They were both out around the same time, and I'm like, which Sega do you buy? It doesn't really matter. And then the Dreamcast came out pretty soon, quick as well. So Sega was kind of like dropping systems, and then just bringing out new ones, and that's what Pachter wants Nintendo to do, which was stupid. You all know what happened to Sega. But also, the 5 million people that own Wii U's right now, or over 5 million so far, Pachter wants Nintendo to basically say, screw you guys. That's what he basically wants them to say. He basically wants Nintendo to stop making games for the Wii U, make it for the other systems, and tell everybody who bought a Wii U, over 5 million people now, we know that we said this was going to be our system and this was going to have our hardware and we were going to have Zelda and Mario Kart and stuff like that, but we're not doing it anymore. We're bringing it on the next systems instead. And I'm like, Pachter, how could you be telling Nintendo to do that? They would lose their fan base. They would lose people who buy Nintendo basically out of loyalty and stuff. They would lose people who actually like the Wii U as well. Like me, I actually like the Wii U. Alright, let's go with the second part. Now, then he wants them to say, alright, everybody who played our games on these systems, now we're going to bring them all back to our new system. Let's just call it the Wii, or let's just call it Nintendo Forever. Let's just call it that. we're gonna bring all our systems on Nintendo forever, and we're gonna make sure that all the Zeldas and Marios and everything are just on Nintendo forever and not on any other console. Okay, that's retarded. Do you know what that would do to release, let's just say, Super Mario 5D World, okay? On the PS4 and Xbox One, and then to release 60 World by itself on another console? Do you know what that does to people? People are like, wait a minute, I want to play this sequel, but I don't want to buy that console. No, that's utter garbage. That doesn't make sense in the least. And also, Pachter is forgetting the legal ramifications of this. Now, for those of you who don't know, I do have a bachelor's degree in law. Now, not in the United States, so I don't know exactly which. I'm in the Bahamas. But in legality, to simply move one's games from one system to the next takes a lot. It takes teams coming together, talking agreements, doing settlements, you don't just say, you don't just pick it up and say, see, if you're done with your contract, yes, you can technically, even then it's not exactly just pick it up and say let's go. But the problem is, let's say that Nintendo wants to bring out the Nintendo Forever 3 years after they drop the Wii U, but they have a 5-year contract with the PS4 and Xbox One. So for the next 2 years, with Nintendo Forever, they cannot bring out any games that they have in contract with PS4 and Xbox One. And believe me, see, with sequels, they do contracts for sequels. People do contracts like, let's just use a movie for example. I'm pretty sure that Iron Man contracted for 3 movies already. Tobey Maguire contracted to do Spider-Man 4 and 5 before it was cancelled, obviously, by the directors or publishers. But basically, you don't just contract to do one game. You contract to do a series. Okay? So, Nintendo would have to wait till that series is done before bringing stuff out on the Nintendo Forever, which is completely and utterly retarded, because legally, they cannot just bring the game and put it on their console after they already give it to the other people. 3. The 3DS. The 3DS is selling like hotcakes, and it's the number 1 console selling right now. It's beating the PS4 and Xbox One. I haven't seen this week's things, but it may not be beating it this week, but weekly it's been still beating the other consoles, okay? So, I don't know what type of garbage Pachter is talking about by saying that Nintendo needs to bring its games onto mobile phones. Sure, it would probably sell more software-wise, but when you have a system or a console, which is basically what handhelds are nowadays, when you have that selling higher than everybody else, the point of bringing them to mobile phones would be... Anyway, so let's go on a different topic here. Pachter is basically telling the company, drop everything, start something new. While you're doing that, send your first-party software over to other companies, then bring it back immediately, which we can't do. I've already explained the legal ramifications of that, the disloyalty it is to fans, and how stupid it would be in general. Pachter, I love your show. You usually talk sense. But what is with you lately? I mean, aren't you a businessman? Do you not know how much money, it would take Nintendo to do all this? And how little money they may get back? I mean, I just don't know, man. Pachter, seriously. Come on. Just come on. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Nintendo should do what Pachter said? I'll leave a link to the article below. But do you guys think Nintendo should do what Pachter said, or do you guys... just tell me what you think, because right now I am lost why someone obviously as smart as Pachter is, Michael Pachter, would say something like this. It just makes no sense. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.